I would like for you to watch our show, The A Girl Show, right here on New Way to Live Network. ADD, what's up? ADD, what's up?
Yo, what up? This is DJ Chip, and you are watching New Way to Live Network. Bam.
Okay, welcome again, community. Again, my name is Baki Muhammad. The program is called Wake Up, and that's just what we're here to do. We're here to wake us up. We've got to wake up. We are in Columbus, Georgia, but this program is worldwide. We're going to move swiftly. We're not going to be long, but we will be strong. And I want you to pay particular attention to this is the latest edition of the Final Call newspaper. You can see, you should purchase that. Whenever you see the brothers on the corner, which I'm one of those brothers, or the brothers knocking on your door, you should purchase this paper. This is the #1 independent, we don't like to say it's the #1 black paper because it's more than that. It's the #1 paper, period. But it is the #1 black paper not just in America, on the planet Earth. So anytime that you see this, you would do yourself a favor if you get the Final Call newspaper. It's a small thing of $2 donation. Always get the paper. It's a weekly paper. You should always get it. For those of you who don't read it and say, "Well, I'm a Christian," this is not this is a paper that's for everyone who wants to do as the Bible says, to study to show thyself approved. This is a paper for those who are seeking knowledge, wisdom, and then gaining understanding. So don't use that I'm a Christian as your reason for not getting the pay. That make you look bad, and it make you seem like you're not really a follower of Christ, because anybody who's a follower of Christ is trying to get knowledge. Okay, so this is the article, but you have to get it. It's very timely article. A very timely front piece on the paper dealing with black girls and suicide. So you have to get it, and any time that you get it, you have to dig into it. Okay. Now the other thing that I want to go quickly into is this. In our newspaper, the Final Call newspaper, the last page is always called the Muslim program. The Muslim program is always the last page. So this is what we're going to focus on for this today's show. We're going to focus on the Muslim program. It's going to take us a couple of shows to really get into it, because this is very, very important. This is something that everybody needs to know, whether you're black, white, Christian, atheist, agnostic, it doesn't matter. You need to know the Muslim program, because you're going to see it come into fruition in your life. And as we go through it, you'll see what I'm talking about. But everybody needs to know the Muslim program. Many times, you all on the street, when we come up to you, say, "Well, I don't know what you believe. I don't read that." Well, this is what we're going to go on today. We're going to go into the Muslim program. This talks about what we want and what we believe. So we don't want our people, black people, we are labeled in the Bible as, we are called by many people, by philosophers and many theologians and many scholars, as dead, mentally, spiritually dead. We are labeled in the Bible as a carcass, something which once lived and once was great but is now dead. So we as black people are the last people who can say, "I don't want to read something. I don't want to read that." Okay, we don't have no room to say that. So let's get on to it, okay? The Muslim program. So the first part of the Muslim program is what the Muslims want. What the Muslims want. So you don't have to go in and say, and let anybody, you getting it now from the source's mouth. From the source's mouth. You don't have to go and guess on what we believe or what we want. But we're going to start on what the Muslims want. Now, this is the question asked most frequently by both the whites and the blacks. The answer to this question I shall state as simply as possible. And let's make it very plain. I'm reading from the words of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and from the program of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. So I'm reading in first person, but it's not me that's going to make it as simple as possible. It's him. He's already done it. So just bear in mind that when I'm reading, I might say I and this and that, but I'm talking about the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. That's who I'm reading, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And I'm reading from the paper of his top student, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Okay? So, again, the Muslim program. This is the question asked most frequently by both the whites and the blacks. The answer to this question I shall state as simply as possible. This is the Honorable Elijah Muhammad speaking. And you got to put into context that this was in a time when black people in America were still very much getting lynched. We were getting lynched. We were that strange fruit that was swinging from trees. when the Honorable Elijah Muhammad came with the Muslim program and came and introduced Islam to us. So this beautiful, beautiful man of God, messenger of God, introduced us to the Muslim program. The first component of the Muslim program, number one, is we want freedom. We want a full and complete freedom. That who wouldn't want that? Many of you say, well, we's free. No, we's not free. We not free. Our mind, we might not be in chattel slavery, meaning we don't no longer have chains on our arms and our legs, but our minds are darn sure shackled and not free. But the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the Muslims want for you and we want freedom. We want a full and complete freedom. That's the simple answer. That's the simple answer to number one. Now, number two of what we want. We want justice. Equal justice under the law. We want justice applied equally to all, regardless of creed or class or color. Now, that's so important, and we're going to spend a little time with that. We want justice. Now, first of all, we know good and darn well that we as black people do not have justice. We are the only people. I talked to a white man, and I didn't debate him. I smashed him, so it wasn't a debate. But I talked to him vigorously. He's a national talk show host. And he tried to say that black people, basically, y'all stop whining. We've given you everything that you need. And I asked him, I said, listen, tell me 5 white people. No, not 5, I told him, as I'm talking. I said, no, you don't even have to tell me 5. Tell me 3. No, you don't even have to tell me 3. Tell me 1 white person that you know that's a national name that was killed with no weapon by the police, killed with no weapon by the police, and a person that had no weapon and was killed by the police. Basically, that's what I asked him. And he was so infuriated. I went down the list. I mean, we can go right here in Columbus. We had Kenneth Walker. We can go with Trayvon Martin, not the police, but an armed white guy killed a child. We can go with the shooting in Cleveland. We can go with Sean Bell in New York City. We can go with Oscar Grant in California. We can go with the black woman, I forget her name, but in Houston, Texas, that was taken to the prison and killed, to the jail and killed on a traffic violation. We can go on and on and on. We can go with the brother that was killed by the police in Milwaukee, who had a gun permit. And I can't think of all the names right now, but I can go on and on. And you all are familiar with all these names. We can go on and on and on. These are just the things that come off the top of my head. How about the child that was killed in Cleveland? The 8-year-old child that was in the park, 12-year-old child that was in the park. We can go on and on. So with that being said, we want justice. And guess what? I want you to come right back because we're not finished. We get into the heat of it, but we're going to take a quick break.
Hello, everybody. This is Johnny Newsom with Financial Solution and Associates, and you're tuned into New Way to Live Network.
Peace and welcome. Listen, I thank you for joining us on our New Way to Live Network, and I thank you for joining us on my show, Uncle Baki's Island. But listen, that show, in order to produce this, it costs money. So I'm asking you, because when I'm out there on the street and I'm dealing with you and you're so gracious and so beautiful and you're always so willing to give, but I don't take that lightly. And I don't ask for support of anything unless it's of a worthy cause. And most of you, I've never asked for anything of support. But I'm asking you to support this network and specifically my show. So I want you to send your donations, and any donation, none is too small and absolutely none is too big. But send your donations and write your checks and money orders out to Uncle Baki's Island, and send your donations to 2324 Francis Street, Suite 105A, Columbus, Georgia, 31906. And if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can call me at 706-464-1940. And again, I thank you for your support. Peace to you and have a winning day. Okay, and we're back, and I appreciate you. Thanks for coming back. And I know you was like, man, let me go back and get back on this because he going in. Yeah, I got to go in. It's 2018. We got to no time to play. Okay, so I'm going to get right back to where we left off on the Muslim program. The Muslim program, what the Muslims want. We're on point number 2, which is we want justice. And again, it just doesn't make sense when I think about the young lady in Dallas, I think it was, that was at the swimming party, and think about that officer slamming her on the ground. A child with his knee in her back. That doesn't happen anywhere except to you and I and our brown people. You don't see white folks get slammed down like that. And we don't want to see that for no human being. But we know we don't have justice is the point. And I don't have to belabor that point. But we want justice. Now here's something that many of you didn't know. Not only do we want justice for us because we sorely need it, but we want justice under the law for all. Not just black people, not just our brown people, but we want justice for Caucasian people. Anybody and everybody, we are Muslims, and we want justice for all, regardless of as the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, creed or class or color. See, many of you thought that we wouldn't say that because y'all say, well, y'all the so-called black Muslims. But God cares about justice for all. God doesn't care about justice just for black people because we are the true children of Israel. He don't care about justice just for us. God cares about justice for all people. And we feel the same because we are God people. Okay? So now that's point number 2. We're going to move swiftly. We want equality of opportunity. We want equal membership in society with the best in civilized society. That means that we want equality and opportunity. And I'm going to be very blatant on this program. I live in Columbus, Georgia. I'm not from the South. But since I do, and I love the South, but I have not seen I have not seen much worse inequality in my life since I've lived here in Columbus, Georgia. The South is still that place. It is that place, particularly Columbus, Georgia, and areas, small towns like this. This is a place where inequality is the order of the day. And the reason why you all sometimes don't feel the inequality, because you're accustomed to it. Let me give you an example. If you live in a house or grew up in a house that smelled like a pet shop, when somebody come in there and say, whoa, it's smelling here, you don't feel like it smells. Why? Because you've been in it all your life. You've been accustomed to that musty, stinky smell. That's what it is with the equality of opportunity here in Columbus, Georgia. See, we want equality of opportunity. That means that we want schools that are just as good, all of our schools to be just as good and get the same chance as students who go to Columbus High. We want them all that way. All of our elementary schools to be just as good as Britt David and some of the other Britt David Elementary. We want equality, but we don't have that. But we will get it. So you stick around and we'll show you how we're going to get it. But that's what we want, equality. Now, number 4, we want our people in America whose parents or grandparents were descendants from slaves to be allowed to establish a separate state or territory of their own, either on this continent or elsewhere. Man, this is going to take a lot of time to unpackage this number 4. But many of you who just heard that, when we said that we want a separate state or territory of our own, either on this continent or elsewhere, we believe that our former slave masters are obligated to provide such land, and that the area must be fertile and minerally rich. We believe that our former slave masters are obligated to maintain and supply our needs in this separate territory for the next 20 to 25 years until we are able to produce and supply our own needs. Excuse me. Many of you think this is, you like this, your socks being blown off just by me reading that. Because you just don't, oh man, many of you just are overwhelmed by that. But yes, we absolutely want that. Let me give you some precedent. First of all, I want you to think in the Bible. I want you to think about Moses and the children of Israel. and what Jehovah did for Moses and the children of Israel in establishing their own land. You all believe that that's something, those of you who study the Bible, many of you believe that happened in the past. We'll talk about that later. But that we don't believe that happened in the past. There's no precedent. You don't find in the history of Egypt where there was a mass exodus. You don't find that. In fact, you don't find an exodus or a mass number of people in the millions is what the Old Testament says. So you will say, well, y'all don't believe in the Old Testament. We do believe that. We believe that. We believe that. We just believe that it's not history, but that it's prophecy. That's the only thing. We believe that part about the Exodus is prophecy. And we believe that it will involve us. And I say that to say, here's some other precedent for that. Did you know that back during the times of slavery, I don't have the actual, it was in the 1800s, they created what was called the Freedmen's Bureau. This was a bureau. This is where the 30 acres and a mule concept comes from. That's not just something was tossed around. The white man knew of the damage and was aware of the damage that he did to us during slavery. So they said that we've got to be able to give them tools to farm, seed to grow crops. We've got to be able to give them farming implements, farming tools, and the means to take care of themselves. This was something that was kicked around amongst the white man because they had destroyed us with slavery. So the concept of giving to us a territory, a state of our own, is not something that you should feel is impossible or overwhelmed by. In fact, it's very possible. Because the Bible and Scripture says that God takes from whom he pleases and gives to whom he pleases. And that's exactly what's going to happen. So you've got to get ready. You and I have got to get in a mentality for that. But this is something that is a part of our program. So we believe that those of us who are descendants from slaves should be allowed to establish a separate state or territory of our own on this continent or elsewhere. We believe that our former slave masters are obligated to provide such land and that the area must be fertile and minerally rich. Now, not only do we believe it, but they know that it should be done. Now, whether they do it or not is out of our hands. It's in the hands of God. But they know of what should be done. This is reparations. In the word reparations is repair. They know that they have to repair something that they destroyed. So trust me, they have talked on this. The only thing is that you and I just don't know about that. During the time, one of the things that Abraham Lincoln struggled with was this concept and not only Abraham Lincoln, but the founding fathers. So with that, we're going to take another quick break, but I want you to understand that you are being given from the Honorable Elijah Muhammad something that is going to blow your mind because you, and our people, we just don't know. So stay tuned, continue to come, continue to learn, and let's just wake up. We'll see you in a moment.
HB's Barbershop gives you that fresh look with quality men's haircut and beard services. They specialize in walk-ins and deliver great customer service so you're happy when you leave. For the best in contemporary styles, head to HB's Barbershop, 3418 Buena Vista Road in Columbus.
Hi, my name is Baki Muhammad. If you are financially unstable, you're looking for some stability, some financial stability, you need to call me today. My name is Baki Muhammad. You can call or text 706-464-1940.
My name's Chanel Rayford. I'm 11 years old. I'm from Columbus, Georgia, and I want to be a dance girl when I grow up.
Okay, listen, I want to thank you all for just sticking in there. We got so much to do in this year of 2018. We're going to be providing a lot of knowledge, a lot of information that will give you some wisdom and more understanding. We want you to, if you'd be a fool not to stay with the Final Call newspaper. What else do you have to turn to? Stay with the Final Call newspaper. You can't lose from reading and gaining the knowledge. Okay? So now, as we wrap it up, our unity. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that our unity is more powerful than an atomic bomb. We cannot go and proceed forth without unity. We can't do as the Indians, the so-called red dot Indians who run the gas stations and things in this city. We can't do what they do because without unity. We can't become wealthy without unity. We can't do as our Mexican brothers and sisters do, as they stick together and pool their resources without unity. So our unity is something that we must have, okay? And I also want you to stay tuned. I'll keep dropping little tidbits of it as we're putting it together, but stay tuned for our sex trafficking task force. We got to do something to help our black girls and even our black young men. But our black girls are being placed into sex trafficking and things of that nature, prostitution, and we cannot sit by. So just stay tuned. We're going to do something about it. So we're going to start something big here in Columbus. So I need your unity on that as well, okay? And listen, this is something that we start right now. Just Stop 2018 is the campaign. It's called Just Stop 2018. And it starts with you, black woman. It starts with the queen. Just Stop 2018 meaning we got to stop smoking. We got to do that, and we got to stop now. Them Newports is killing us. I have done it, so you can do it. So Just Stop 2018, okay? This Stop Smoking campaign starts now, okay? We got to stop. We got to do this. This is not an option. Last 2 points and we're closed. We are addicted as a people. We the only people that I know that's addicted to smoking, but I'm going to say something else we addicted to. We addicted to not reading. And that don't even make no sense. We are people that's addicted to not reading. Readers are leaders, okay? So now, if you can't read, then you need to get with me and you need to get with us because we will help you. You're not dumb because you can't read. You're not dumb because you can't read. You're only dumb if you don't learn how to read. Now we have to call you dumb, man. You don't want to read, you don't want to learn, then we got to call you dumb, okay? But if you can't read, you're not dumb. Just get the help, okay? So now we close. Join our community. I need you to text me at 706-464-1940. Text me, because I need you to join the community. We need the help, and we got a lot of things that we got to do, and you are valuable, and you are the best. We got to wake up. Thank you. You all stay strong. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Hi, I'm Brother Baki from Uncle Baki's Island. Listen, I want you to do what we say that you're going to do every year, but we just don't quite get around to it. I want you to quit procrastinating and making excuses. Let's get to it. This year, don't make a New Year's resolution. Let's do it today. I want you to call me today so that we can take care of this losing this weight thing and lose them pounds that you know you want to lose, you know you should lose, you know you got to lose, but you never quite get around to do it. And guess what? I'm going to help you do it. I want you to take our course, How to Eat to Live, and I want you to call me at 706-464-1940 and take this course, and let's do something. Be a big loser of those pounds that you say and know that you got to lose. Thank you. Give me a call today. I would like to take this opportunity to invite you to our local mosque here in Columbus, Georgia. Muhammad Mosque number 96. We're at 2324 Francis Street. 2324 Francis Street, just to make it easy. We're off of Winton Road, right behind that Popeye's Chicken off of Winton Road, right next to Bargain Town, just to make it easy. Okay? So I want to invite you to the mosque, and I'm going to pray that we see you all. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Juan Lane, and thank you for tuning in to this station, New Way to Live. Listen, we can't do it without your help. We need you to send your donations in today. This is how this station operates, and we're trying to do the very best for you and your family with the production that we have. We are really giving it our all, but we cannot continue it without your financial support. So please send your offerings in to P.O. Box 3615, Columbus, Georgia 31903, in care of New Way to Live, and we'll make sure that we get it on so we can keep this great program going. If you and your family are enjoying it, we pray that you continue we pray that you send us a offering that we can continue it and do the very best for you. Also, make sure that you watch our public education program. This is a very special program where it can help you prepare for your next test. The public education program right here on New Way to Live. Thank you.